All right, make a stealth check.
Nat 20.
Ha! You can't see me.
That's super not how stealth works. This isn't.
Nope, I'm invisible.
You don't just
Nat
become.
20.
That's not
That's
how.
super hot.
Critical successes don't defy.
Look, rules of cool.
Oh my god.
It was an 18.
It wasn't 18. That's really good. It would be so funny if you got a 20. That would be so funny. I
wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah, the intro would have just been that.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Krug.
I'm Indigo.
Today we're here to talk to you about the Ragu.
Or the Roger.
Or just the Rogue. We're talking about the Rogue.
Yeah, let's get into it. So the proficiencies for the Rogue, as seen on this screen, the only thing that's really super cool about this is the fact that you're going to have your key ability is Dexterity, or you can choose one based off of your racket.
Right. We're going to talk about rackets, the class feature for the Rogue that define what kind of Rogue you are. The little choice that's built into the class that isn't a class feat.
And I would just like to also point out 7+ int.
Sorry, the curtain was falling. 7+ int is high.
Yeah, it's going to drop in the middle and it'll be a fun thing.
Hey look, it's the Rogue's racket that we were talking about earlier. You're going to choose at level 1 between the Ruffian, the Scoundrel, and the Thief. We can see where all these are going, right? They're different. There's the strong one and the tricky one.
So we don't need to go over it, right?
The stealth one.
Yeah, you guys got this,
Yeah,
right?
it's the strong one and the tricky one.
The first thing you're going to get with the Ruffian is that you're going to be able to do sneak attack damage with all simple weapons instead of just the listed items in which you can deal sneak attack damage from the class feature.
Yep. You're also going to be able to use the critical specialization effect for the weapon that you're wielding if you critically strike a creature with it, and it's a simple weapon. But if the weapon's damage die is larger than a D8, just kidding, you don't get to do that. I'm just throwing this out there. Oh, wait, never mind.
What are you throwing out there?
Nothing.
You're also going to be trained in intimidation and medium armor, clearly fitting out what kind of rogue you are.
Yeah. You can also, and this harkens back to what we were saying about the proficiencies, choose strength as your key ability if you want to. You can do that. You do not have to.
Correct.
You can still choose dexterity for any of these.
Yes. And lastly, for the Ruffian, you're going to gain medium armor proficiency whenever your light armor proficiency increases.
Yeah.
So it's just going to go hand in hand so that you're not falling behind.
And it specifically says up till master. It doesn't say anything for legendary, but you don't get legendary light armor expertise, so. Next up we have the Scoundrel. When you successfully feint, the target of your feint is going to be flat-footed to attacks against it made by you until the end of your next turn. But if you critically succeed, it's going to be flat-footed against all attacks until the end of your next turn.
Specifically all melee attacks.
You're right.
Yeah,
Specifically all melee attacks.
The Scoundrel definitely fits the kind of rogue I like to play. So I'm when I was reading this, I was like, yes. Yes. Yes, oh my, yes. I don't know why I was going into that voice.
Yeah, it's weird. He does that sometimes when he reads anything. Poetry.
For your skills, you're going to be trained in both deception and diplomacy.
And you're going to be able to choose charisma as your key ability score, again, if you want to.
Yeah, you can hit, but feinting is your thing.
Yes.
Faking out someone, adding that charisma into there to improve your feint is really, really key. For the Ruffian, you're using strength, and it's oh yeah, I get to add my
Pure
modifier to damage. Strength is a maybe. Dexterity still has a huge benefit for it.
Yeah.
This one is
yes, charisma.
Give me the charisma. It also could just be the fact that it's
it's a
place, place in my heart, yeah. And we're gonna go into Thief next,
yeah.
And it's just kind of your generic.
Yeah.
I'm a rogue.
Last but not least, we have the cliche Thief. You're gonna be able to add your dexterity modifier to damage rolls instead of your strength modifier if you want to. Cool.
You're also trained in thievery. This is the only subclass, I guess, that doesn't offer you an option other than dexterity because this is the dex one.
Yeah, it is the cliche, the most. I mean, not plain in the sense that it's boring necessarily, but just literally this is what everybody expects from the Thief. Ruffian's kind of new. Scoundrel, I think, is a little bit more common to see an archetype of the Thief that's based around its mind instead of its nimble fingers. This is just plain Thief.
Now, I know we talk about brawlers for the fighter and the monk, but I think the Ruffian could be a interesting brawler class that you could go. Be a very skillful, strength-based rogue.
Yeah, I don't actually just, will sneak attack work? Oh, hey, let's talk about sneak attack now. The bread and butter, just like 100% expected from everybody that's ever played any rogue in any game, sneak attack. You're going to be able to do 1d6 precision damage to any creature that's flat-footed to you. Pretty good, especially because that damage is going to scale up as you level.
The damage level is going to be 5th, 11th, and 17th that the dice are going to increase. So at 17th level, you're looking at 4d6 plus your weapon's damage. So
Yes.
if you've got a shocking whatever dagger that you're using, you're adding all of that damage.
That's
on
die
top.
damage, elemental damage, sneak attack damage, modifier damage.
Yes, yes. You actually get something called surprise attack, which is if you use deception or stealth for your initiative for combat, and you get to attack someone that hasn't gone yet in combat, they're considered to be flat-footed to you.
I don't like that deception and stealth are not things that the ruffian has access to.
Sure.
So it makes it a little bit more difficult for them to use this specific feature.
Probably their second stat is going to be con, so they're going to be like, cool, I can take a hit. They're now dealing a larger damage because of what weapons they can use. They're adding their strength modifier to it as well. So they're already have that damage bonus. They just now have to figure out a way to get them flat.
And there are plenty of other ways to do that,
Exactly.
right? Just like every other martial class, you're going to get a class feat at level 1 and every even numbered level thereafter, meaning you go 1, 2, 4, etc., etc.
So the other things that you're going to be getting are just a bunch of stereotypical stuff that you get every single level, which is in the show notes, but we're not going to be going over them here.
General feats, ability boosts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stuff that doesn't change depending on what class you choose. Because I would look really silly if all of a sudden my shirt was different.
Yeah. At third level, you're going to get deny advantage. At third level, you're going to get deny advantage. If an opponent is your level or lower, and it is hidden, undetected, flanking, or if they're using surprise attack, you're not going to be flat-footed to that creature. But, specifically talking about the flanking portion of this, that creature can still help its allies flank you.
Yes.
So if there is a creature to which this doesn't apply, for example,
A level above you. Yeah.
then that creature is still going to consider you as flat-footed if there's a lower level creature flanking you.
Yeah.
The lower level creature isn't, the higher level creature is, even though they are the only two there. Does that make sense? It should make sense.
At 5th level, you're going to get Weapon Trick. If you make a successful critical hit against a foe that is flat-footed with the weapons below, because it's way too many for me to read out, you're going to actually be able to use the critical specialization ability for that weapon. It has to be agile, though. And then at 13th level, you're going to get Master Tricks, which is kind of like the attachment to this, which is your proficiency with all of those weapons go up to Master.
Yeah.
I don't like that. We're going to upgrade this Weapon Trick to Master Trick, and then all it's doing is
Increasing the proficiency, which, like, it's not that it's weak. It's
No,
just
no,
that
no.
it's less interactive.
Yeah.
Like, you'd want that to be interactive as well. There's, like, a limit, right? In a vacuum, this level 13 feature seems boring, but, like, you're level 13. Like, maybe you have enough shit
Yeah.
at that point,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It just feels bad. I
Yeah.
agree that it feels bad.
Feels bad, man.
At 7th level, you get evasion. Your reflex saves are going to become master, and if you roll success on a reflex save, you're going to get a critical success instead.
This ability does improve at level 13
Yeah.
with improved evasion.
Your reflex saves are going to increase to legendary, mwah, and if you roll a critical failure, you get a failure instead, and if you take damage from a reflex save, you take half of that damage.
At 7th level, you're going to get Vigilant Sense, which your proficiency in perception increases to Master, and this increases at level 13 with Incredible Sense to Legendary.
In a previous video, I don't remember which one, you mentioned that 15 was a really low number to get a legendary. You get 2 legendaries at level 13, that's way below the curve. Super early legendary for perception, which is like ubiquitous.
Yeah.
And reflex, which is, I personally think, in my experience, the most common save that you make.
We were talking about not being able to be attacked by being flat-footed against unseen things. You're a legendary proficient.
13. Nothing's unseen.
Yeah.
Everything's seen.
You're like, cool, you're invisible. Well, guess what? I see your footprint.
I can smell you. You get weapon specialization at these levels for these numbers. Next. At 9th level, you get debilitating strike. This is one of my favorite parts of the rogue. Augment an attack that has hit a flat-footed creature. So you get to choose a debilitation to apply to the creature, and then like a bunch of your class feats are gonna be dedicated to making your debilitating strike better. Like, it's so cool. I love debilitating strike. The first option you can apply is a minus 10-foot penalty to all of the creature's speeds. All of them. Burrow, fly, swim,
Land.
move. Yeah, land. What's it actually called? Stride speed, or is it called land speed? I don't know, whatever, the normal one.
Or you can make the target enfeebled 1.
Which enfeebled is a strong status effect.
You can take feats to add other debilitation. And
Yes.
the reason why this is important is because at level 15, you're going to get double debilitation. But this is the thing. If they remove one of them, they remove both.
Yeah, so if they have a way of healing one, they automatically have a way of healing both. I don't understand the roleplay behind that, really.
Imagine you get hit with a sap. You've healed from that one hit
Right.
that has affected you.
Right.
You hit someone in such the correct way that causes additional types of damage.
Yeah.
And so when they deal with that deal with that one wound that you hit,
Exactly.
they're able to heal both.
I
And
get
it makes sense.
I get it. In the case of the ruffian, you're not hitting anybody exactly anything. You're just hitting him real hard.
Yeah.
On 9th level, you're gonna get great fortitude. This is gonna take your fortitude to expert.
At a level 11, you're going to get rogue expertise, where your proficiency in your rogue class DC is going to increase to expert.
Which is kind of hilarious, because this is level 11. You
Yeah.
get expert in your class DC. Like, this is the thing
Yeah.
that dictates how your class features. And then, like, 2 levels later, you get legendary reflex saves, which is just like, wait, what? What's happening? I understand. I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
But I just think it's funny. At 13th and 19th level, you're going to get light armor expertise and light armor mastery. This is going to take your light armor proficiency to expert and to mastery, respectively. This also, remember, if you chose ruffian, is going to also apply to medium armor. Both of these levels are going to increase your proficiency with your medium armor as well.
13th level is kind of a big level.
Yeah, 13th level is a big deal here.
At 17th level, you're going to get Slippery Mind.
Stop. Best name for a feature, hands down. 100%. Please continue.
Where your will save proficiency is going to increase to mastery, and if you make a success, it's considered to be a critical success.
At level 19, you get Master Strike. This is the go f yourself of the rogue. It's terrifying. Master Strike is going to trigger if you strike a flat-footed creature and deal damage to it. They are then going to have to make a fortitude save against your class DC, and then regardless of the results, they become immune to your Master Strike for a day. You think that's a long time, but
That's
it's
because there's a lot
It's
of
not
things. Yeah.
unreasonable,
Yeah.
I promise you. On a critical sex... Oh man. On a critical success, the target's just unaffected, which is reasonable. Critical, like,
Yeah.
sure, that's cool. On a success, the target's enfeebled 2 until the end of your next turn.
It sounds like not much, but again, they've already succeeded.
Yeah, this is a
The
success
yeah.
result. On a failure, the target is paralyzed for 4 rounds, which is like, cool. They're dead. If you're fighting a single opponent, they die. You can just
Yep.
kill them at that point.
Yep.
That's the end of their life. If you were fighting a group of opponents, it is as though you had killed that opponent for 4 rounds. The important thing is action economy.
Yeah.
If you could remove an opponent's ability to use actions
Even one.
for 4 rounds, that's so good.
You're getting rid of 12 actions.
That's so good. To prove that it's so good, on a critical failure, you can still choose to have the target be paralyzed for 4 rounds if you want. But you can also choose some other cool stuff. You can have the target be knocked unconscious for 2 hours. Hours. We're talking about losing actions.
Yeah.
This is a lot of actions lost for 2 hours. Now, the thing about unconscious, it's way easier to get somebody back up if they're unconscious versus if they're paralyzed.
Yes.
So if you're attacking like a ranger that's by themselves and the ranger's like shooting at your party, they're like the sniper on the roof, you can knock them unconscious for 2 hours. If
Yeah.
none of their allies have a chance of getting to them, sure, knock
Yeah.
them unconscious. If you're fighting on the ground, in the fray, use the paralyzed. That's way harder to cure. They're gonna have to blow some spell slots to get a paralyzed creature back up.
But once they've dealt with the 4 rounds, they're back up versus
2
unconscious.
hours.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying if they're by themselves, just knock them out for 2 hours. They're basically dead.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, they're dead.
Or if you're not playing that kind of character, you can just knock them unconscious and lock them up, or
Oh,
like,
sure,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
depending on the situation. Like, I'm
Exactly.
taking you in. You know, that kind of rogue. I don't know what kind of rogue does that, but
The Reformed Rogue, aka the rogue no one plays.
if you are the rogue that most people play, the third option for critical failure is that you killed them.
They just die. They don't take a butt ton of damage. They don't like get a special status effect that makes them.
No,
they
they're just dead.
die.
At 19th level, a rogue can just kill someone with one hit.
As a base class feature.
Yeah.
I mean, other classes can do that too. This is just a base class feature.
Yeah.
This is whether or not you want this, you get it.
And it's a choice.
You can choose to kill them.
The other kind of really interesting thing about the rogue as a whole is the fact that there are a ton of feats that you're going to have the options of choosing from. There's a bunch of different really cool aspects that you can dip into other classes that make the rogue really flavorful. Build videos, come on.
Yeah.
Gotta milk that YouTube economy. Like, that's how that works.
Also, I just want to bring this up really quick. I think we undersold 7+ int skills.
Yes.
Because the thing fell. But 7+ int skills is high as balls and awesome.
Yeah. Plus, you're already getting 2 other things, depending, 2, maybe even 3 different skills based off of your racket. I can't tell you who the first rogue is going to be in Court of Corvids because you haven't met them yet. But there's definitely a lot of rogues in Court of Corvids. Court of Corvids has released on the 28th, which is going to be today.
This today?
Yeah, because this video is going to go out on Wednesday, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
No, I'm using that.
Okay. At 6:30 p.m. PDT on August 28th is the first episode. It's going to be every Wednesday at 6:30 now until we end this arc. Krug is in it. Krug is playing a monk. We have Molly, who is playing a sorcerer. We have Jonas playing a druid, and we have William playing a fighter.
I have to get this out there because I'm not going to have the opportunity to say this.
Okay.
I might not have the opportunity to say this. The way that I played the monk during the first combat encounter was wrong. Don't tell me that. I know what I did was bad, and I know that it directly led to the results.
Well, here's the thing.
That's what I have to say.
This is how I imagine it, though. This is probably your first encounter in a very long time. So it's kind of like getting back on the bike, you know?
Here's
yeah,
also,
everyone knows how to ride it, but it takes a while.
Here's also the thing that you don't know about my choices, is that I specifically try to die in your campaigns as early as possible, because I know for a fact, because we've talked about it, that you give everybody a freebie.
I do.
That doesn't mean that I...
Well, spoilers. We're very excited to present it to all of you. I hope you enjoyed as much as we enjoyed making it. Head down in the comments and let us know what your rogue build is, because we might be plucking it out of the comments and doing a full video based off of that kind of rogue. I already know that my first build that I'm going to do is actually a build that was based off of someone that made a comment. And so stick around for that. Then hit the like button because it helps us out, because YouTube's a bastard. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Don't hit the bell icon because you don't want all of our content. And then head over to Twitter and talk to me there. You can talk to me on Twitter at IndigoTT.
If you do want all of our content, hit the bell icon.
Yeah.
If you don't want all of our content, don't hit the bell icon.
Because
all of our content's good, but some of it's very long, and so you might not. Anyways, you can talk to me on Twitter at QueueTimes, or you can talk to both of us at all these social media things down here. We've been GameGorgon. We will see you whenever we fucking see you, all right? You're not my mom.
Bye. Or you are.
You actually might be my mom. That's weird.
That's it.